Next, we're going to go into our public comment portion of our meeting. Sybil, are you ready to kind of time these? I think there's a couple minutes, and we don't have a big list today, but we're going to get started. They're all very relevant, and we also want to let the public know also that you can submit written comments to the board also. So we're going to start off with Lexi Cunningham. Are you with us? Are you seeing? We are a few minutes early. We can come back. We'll see if I may have this name wrong, but I believe it's France Barrow.
Yes, I'm trying to show my screen. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Is that okay? Hello, my name is France Barrow. You pronounce it right. I speak on behalf of myself. I am a mom in Utah. I'm a taxpayer. I'm an immigrant. I have lived in 4 countries and I've visited 50. There is no unspoken rule that will ensure the predominance of the United States in the world of the 21st century. What makes the United States a great nation? It's not just its constitution or system of government. It is the strength of its public education system and its educated workforce. Therefore, your mandate and your obligation is nothing short of keeping Utah relevant in the 21st century in an ever complex, interconnected, and hyper-competitive world. And I thank you for taking this task seriously. Your vision is that upon completion, all Utah students are prepared to succeed and lead by having the knowledge and skills to learn, engage civically, and lead meaningful lives. The Utah Portrait of the Graduate is the great first step towards this goal. Students in other countries will beat our students handily with rote learning and repetition. Let them not beat us in innovative thinking, problem solving, and creativity. Studies shows that companies with diverse workforce outperform the ones that are not diverse. This is because with diversity comes different ideas and viewpoints that challenge the status quo, lead to discoveries in science and new solutions in countless other areas. We in Utah have a growingly diverse population. This was not always the case. This is a strength that we should recognize and harness. Stay strategic. Do not shrink the world for our students, but rather allow, with the appropriate safeguards, the world to be explored with intellectual curiosity and integrity. Do not take critical out of thinking. Keep intellectual rigor and freedom at the cornerstone of exemplary teaching. Encourage open-mindedness. Embrace diversity. Protect, but do not shelter. Celebrate the student's life and support their dreams. Stay laser focused on delivering an outstanding education for Utah children, all our students, so that they can reach their full potential and contribute to our society, lest you want the United States' relevance to diminish, its power to fade, and its experiment to dwindle. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Nate Bigler. Are you with us? Yep.
I am. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to weigh in on the draft guidance for LGBTQ inclusion in schools. I read through it this week and I was very impressed by it. I think it's excellent, maybe perfect. A couple of years ago when the pandemic started, I had 8 students in Utah schools because I was a foster parent. 3 of them were transgender. 1 of the foster kids had come to my home because they'd been mistreated in another city in Utah. And what I've seen, the draft guidance addresses all the important points, I think, all the relevant points. Things like acceptance of preferred names, bathroom accessibility, and things like that. In Granite School District, they're doing it right, and particularly Olympus High. So I think there's already a model for LGBTQ student inclusion. The draft guidance hits the points. Our students need to have that space with that acceptance. I saw a public comment by a public figure this week who said that if the draft guidance was implemented, it would harm students somehow. I think that's really absurd. If my children are a little bit unconventional, that doesn't affect anybody else. And we can see that at a place like Olympus High, where my students have been accepted, their well-being has been addressed, their space has been accommodated. I think it's really important. I'd like to see the draft guidance become a policy for Utah. That guidance implemented throughout the state, I think, will benefit all these students who are marginalized, who can be marginalized, and provide the space for them to, in most cases, just quietly learn. The other student, it's transparent to other students from what I can see. So that's it. I think that I hope that people look at that draft guidance, accept it, and that can be accepted policy in the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Monica Wilbur. Monica, are you with us?
I am. Thank you. Good morning. There's a Latin expression I sometimes turn to when I'm trying to understand why people would act the way they're acting. The expression is cui bono, which means roughly who benefits. I followed some recent USB developments, and as a parent, I really can't help but scratch my head because I'm wondering who is really benefiting from your decisions in committees. Last month, the Law and Licensing Committee voted against a rule draft submitted by Member Klein that would have created a way for parents to be fully involved in reviewing library materials to comply with community and legal standards of decency. So we wouldn't be purposely exposing our young kids to highly sexualized images and language. But instead, we had members Hymas, Lear, Booth, and Davis all voting for librarians and not parents to have the biggest voice and the last word on what makes it into school libraries. So cui bono in this case. Seriously, why are our adult board members protecting other adults at the expense of our children? The latest gender identity guidance draft is just another example of this. It reads like it was written by the LGBTQ lobby. It protects a viewpoint that there is no objective biological reality, even to the effect that girls can be denied safe spaces in bathrooms and locker rooms. This benefits adults who want to make sexual politics the focus of our classrooms. The focus of our classrooms is and should always be our kids. Every vote, and I mean every vote, should be putting our kids and our families first in the educational picture, not NASB, not the LGBTQ lobby, not librarians, kids. And the voters need to hold you accountable for each and every one of those votes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Heidi Matthews. Are you with us?
I am.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, board members. I'm Heidi Matthews, teacher serving as the president of the Utah Education Association, and on behalf of the 18,000 members plus of the UEA, I want to thank you for your continued foundation and support for public education in Utah, especially in these challenging circumstances of coordinated assaults on our schools and educators. Your agenda today includes many items that demonstrate understanding of the impact that the ongoing pandemic has in our schools, and especially on our teachers and educators who are working beyond capacity to do everything possible for students, parents, and communities. Thank you for understanding the impact that the onslaught of education-related bills is having this session. And regardless of the intent, stated or otherwise, the impact on educators is demoralizing, infuriating for some, and especially strong for those already at a breaking point. And I just want to reiterate that retention is the best recruitment. Want to express particular gratitude and support for agenda items today that bolster retention of educators so that we can be the best we can be for our students. First is in the USBE ongoing commitment to priority number 1 WPU increases of 5% beyond the inflationary factor, the prioritization of flexible educator directed time, And finally, the consideration of relicensure points that recognizes the heroes that educators have been in the pandemic by easing the workload of those relicensing in these challenging times. That message alone is powerful. And while not on your agenda today, we know that vouchers, or by any other name, are being introduced. And, our UEA is for supporting our neighborhood public schools, not siphoning tax dollars to private for-profit entities with little or no accountability or evidence of increased student learning. Our education community was united in 2007, and we look forward to that unity again. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll call on Jennifer Orton. Is Jennifer with us? I'm not seen in the queue. Okay, well, this concludes our public comment period. I would want to thank those that participated.